Hello. Hi. Sounded like that commercial then, didn't I? Hi, it's Maria from Maria Heals, and I am so thrilled to be providing this mini retreat. When I first thought about it, it was just such an exciting proposition for me to share some of that trust element, to share, to anchor. And I know you're here because you do trust yourself and you do work with crystals, and that's an amazing effort given, well, maybe not effort, but just an amazing insight, I guess, to the world of energy and what we can use to propel us forward. So my idea was, hi Xavier, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. So my idea was, how about we create or co-create prosperity in our world and then the world? And Xavier, I know you've created the most amazing, oh, I just love that point. It's just that generator point, oh my God, it just drew me in completely. And imagine what we can do. And that's me. I guess I'm initiated, but I'm almost like an uninitiated, because I've for me, I had to really study the science behind the crystalline energy, and that's some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today, to be able to forget. And then I just went, okay, I know that, and now I just go to remembering. So when I'm drawn to something, that's what I trust the most, that innate wisdom. And I hope by the end of today that you might start to develop that, or you may have it already. And I assume because you're here, you've probably got that, you've got that trust element. Okie doke, I'm just checking that. I'm just going to, I've got my, yeah, I have got, hello, Xavier, beautiful. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce, because it's being recorded and it's Facebook Live, I just wanted to introduce a bit about me and how I started with crystals. Well, I just thought they were rocks, you know, pretty rocks. People would give me crystals. I really wouldn't appreciate the energy of them. And I would just say, okay, well, I might like that color, I might like that color. When I started in business, well, I needed something to ground me. So a hematite was my go-to. I would put a hematite in my bra. So that sort of started to, oh, maybe they do work. Maybe there is some energy in this crystal, in this rock. Rose quartz was my next one, and amethyst is my birthstone, which I never liked, but now I love purple. Have a look. So take a breath. And then I did medical intuition, and that just opened it all up, you know, playing with shapes and colors and really anchoring or remembering all of that intuitive ability or that innate wisdom or the ancient wisdom which I had suppressed. And that really just opened up my world. And that's what I want for you. Just use whatever you need at any given time and co-create a reality. And these are, crystals are divination tools. Like, I've been using my rose quartz pendulum to work through a business proposition that I'm going ahead with. And you know, that helps me make decisions, and I keep checking it, of course, because I'm an Aquarian, I need to have everything proved. And that's that, yeah, I guess that's the intention. Oh, and I wanted to talk about intention too. Okay, so I see if you're in healing, and I know most of you are, you see miracles daily. So we are the voice of the energetic light body voice out in the world. So it's so good to give people an option as to, you know, is there an alternative? And I think for me, like I think and I teach, let's work with the Western model as well as the Eastern model. And I feel the Eastern model is more energetic friendly than the Western model. And I guess you would all agree, yeah? Hi, Gabrielle. Um, so, yeah, and I see miracles and the magic of the miracles, using the miracles and what we can co-create with the grid, with the prosperity grid. And you saw in the group that I posted prosperity grid. So I do them regularly, and I do them particularly for my circles, that people come and we sit around the prosperity grid. But if I'm filling a group program, or if I want to attract more prosperity, I channel a grid. So I do work with crystals to co-create my reality. And as I said, before I could give myself permission to play and receive information, I had to research the science or the pseudoscience behind it. So once I had all that information, I can forget and remember the wisdom. And that's what I hope for you. So let's start. We're going to start with an opening. Do you have a crystal that you're holding, or and I want you to think about an intention. Can you write your intention down for me? Just post what your intention is for today. I'll just wait a bit. I'm just looking over here because I'm not getting the scrolling notes on my Facebook Live. So does anyone have an intention for today? Can you share? What did I do with those matches? Hi, Mike. Woo! Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so your intention for today, if you could write that down. Oh, you're sitting in front of your grid, Xavier? Great. To aid in prosperity growth for myself, my circle, and the collective. That's beautiful. Does anyone else have an intention? Does anyone else have an intention? No, it's funny because I'm here, but I'm over there too. 2D or 3D or 5D. There's my beautiful daughter has just come in and she said to learn how to create my own destiny. Yay, Gabba. Yes, Gabrielle. So good. So I've got a smudge stick here, which I used to clear my energies. So if you just hold, if you don't have a smudge stick, just ground yourself and pop your feet on the ground and really just enjoy the smudge that's coming from the stick. It was lit. It's just gone out. So clear your energy. Just take a deep breath in and out. I like to start with 3 breaths. One for me, one for the collective, and one for Mother Earth. And with that energy, let's invoke the 4 elements. And I want to seek the wisdom from our ancient elders as well. So calling in I'm going to read a script, and I'm happy to put the script in the group too so that you can use it at any given time. Calling in the 4 directions. On this day we gather together. We seek the wisdom from the elders, the ancients, the guides, the ancestors, and humbly in your great presence, we seek the knowledge that we are ready to integrate. Now is the time, we are promised no tomorrow. Now is the hour of magic. Now is the moment of possibility. Great keepers of the four directions, we thank you for turning your gaze toward us today. We honor your sacred presence and thank you for your presence, for you are welcome here. To the east. I begin with the call to the direction of the east. This is the element of air, for you are Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. Air move us and guide us toward the golden dawn of new possibilities where our souls take flight and our wings expand in every cell of our bodies and align us with infinite potential. Here is where we manifest our soul's true calling. Wings of the East, elementals, guardian spirits, and all who reside in this quadrant of the circle, hear our prayer now for safekeeping. The East. Now we go to the South. Our next call to the direction of the South, element of fire. For you, if you are Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, fire, move us and guide us toward the release of anything we no longer need. Allow us to burn clean through the old beliefs, the fears, the hesitations, the challenges, anxieties, and feel a new phase of our future, one in which we find and embrace our full power. Here in the South, we let everything be transformed, transmuted, cleared away. Nothing is ours forever, and the clarity that comes from destruction is the greatest gift we are given once we let the fear go. What is burnt away was never ours to have in the first place. Fires of the South, fire elemental, guardian spirits, and all who reside in the quadrant of the great circle, hear our prayer for clearing and help us receive the new and shed the old with grace today. The South. West, to the west, the element of water. For you, if you are a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Water move us, flow with us, water complete connection with all our emotions. The love, the rage, the peace, the anger, the passion, the fury. Teach us to allow everything, resisting nothing, flowing downstream. Much like your fish and your sea creatures, show us the way. Here in the West, we are in a state of non-resistance to growth, and all that we released in the South washes away with the waves and tides. We watch it all flow away from us, knowing that its place, our greatest dreams and joys are already flowing toward us. And we know that hope rests in our deepest waters. Waves of the West, water elementals, guardian spirits, all who reside in the quadrant of the circle here, hear our prayer for deep emotional healing today. Help us allow that what must come and what must go with no resistance based in fear. To the West. North. I call to the direction of the North, element of North, of Earth, Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Earth, ground us, catch our deep roots, embracing us in your tree limbs, nurturing us in your mossy womb, connecting us with all that has ever been. Here, wherever you are, we will one day return, bone to bone, dust to dust. You will wait our return. Here in the North, we know we are safe, loved, held, nurtured, and part of a much larger matrix of energy that surpasses all mortal understanding. We are part of our great web, Gaia. We surrender to the path that you have carved for us in the dark of the forest. Let us take rest in your sanctuary, for in the north all knowledge of all time is available to us. Trees of the north, earth elementals, guardian spirits, all who reside in this quadrant of the sacred circle, help us to rest, remind us how small we are, how vast you are, how many blessings exist in the space that resides between us. The circle is now cast. My wish for you, dear ones, today, as it always is that the delicate and precious balance of these four elements will make it known to you now and always. So together we say, so it is, and so it is. Hey, Michelle. That was a bit long, but it was just so beautiful. I think I hope you enjoyed that circle. So the circle is now open. And what I wanted to talk about was your colours. So you had colours, you mentioned colours. So there was a lot of green. And this morning I saw Hibiscus Moon. And if you don't know Hibiscus Moon, I'd really check her out. But she was talking about greenery that Pantone had named 2017 the year of greenery. And it really works with Mother Earth, because if we start at our root chakra and connect to our grounding, then greenery is something that comes up for us. I was being called to green and pink, so that's the heart chakra, and I'm actually really loving doing this. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I wanted to talk about, what do we know about sacred geometry and the shapes? So the colours, you gave me your colours and you gave me your shapes. And I wanted to start you to think about, because for me, I've studied it all and now I just go with the trust and intuition, and that's what I wanted for you. And one of my promptings for running this is that, you know, there was someone told me there's a right way of doing it and a wrong way of doing it. Well, guess what? There's only your way of doing it and my way, and it's that unique way. So energy is energy, and we all have our own matrix. And that brings me to the crystalline energy of what we are too. And crystalline, what do we know about crystalline energy and how the crystals speak to us? So I'm just pausing to see if there's any comments. I really love yours, Michelle, to bring in an abundance of wisdom and prosperity. And I hope, did you, how did you go, Michelle? Have you created your grid? If you have, bring it on. If not, we can do it together now. So crystalline energy always eluded me because we can't really see it. We can't see energy, so we can only feel it. So if your senses, if we're suppressed our senses like I had for years, then I couldn't see it. I couldn't release it. I couldn't visualize or even acknowledge that it presented or existed. But now crystalline energy is part of my work, and it's how I use crystals to actually match the crystalline energy of the person and calibrate or increase the frequency so they're coming up to a frequency that they can heal themselves. And that's basically what I use the crystals for. It's not basically, it's actually an integrated process, but it's such a loving process. And I'm sort of the thinking that there's no healing maybe is a myth. It's actually about being witnessed. That's the point. Just having a drink. So I wanted to talk about quickly sacred geometry. That's the shape. The 0 point is the cross. The cross, the Fibonacci spiral, is part of the mathematical code, and that's a 0 point. A spiral of life, I noticed that some of you had put their shape of the tree of life or the spiral of life. Well, that's amazing. The spiral of life is as we continue the spiral. Now, I've been studying shamanic practices and witchcraft, and the spiral dance is how we create the energy. So do we create energy? No, we increase the energy that we have. So we want to increase our energy with the spiral. And I love that a lot of you had the tree of life as part the shape. I want to talk about the crystalline energy and vibrations. Now, I'm just basically touching on this, and you use your innate wisdom or your research abilities to research more. But these are just the points that I wanted to touch on during the retreat, especially in this sacred space. So vibrations and frequency and calibration and recalibration. That's how we use crystals, is to increase our vibrations and calibrate at a higher frequency. And every time I use them or I touch them, it just changes my focus. It's really like this rose quartz. It's just beautiful. It just changes the way I'm feeling. I'm highly attuned to crystals, as you are, because you're here. So how do we co-create our prosperity to co-create the prosperity in the world? So call on Mother Earth, right? We call on that trust element. I've got a few sheets that I printed out, and I'll put the articles in the group so that resource for you as well. But there is a crystalline matrix, and that deals with our chakras. And I was talking to my daughter, and I asked her, do you see holographs? Just give me a thumbs up, or do you see holographs when you're doing your work? So Gabrielle said, I don't know much, and she's my beautiful daughter, so we're in a learning, her and both, you know, we're mums, so we're the leaders of the, teach by leading. That's what I like to do. And Felicia said, yes, she does see holographs. Felicia also said vibrations. I feel like there's information and vibrations, and we can absorb that information. Absolutely. And that's the thing. We're receiving messages every day from vibrations around us. And Michelle said, I just finished. And Michelle put up a beautiful, beautiful grid. Okay, I'm going to explain that, Xavier. A beautiful grid, and there's a photo in the group. And I just loved it was almost like a spiral dance I could see. So Michelle just said, I just finished putting together what called to me while you were talking. So glad you said there was no right and wrong. Yes, I'm so happy. That makes me so happy, because there is no right and wrong. There's just your way, because it's energy, and we all have our own experiences and our own history and our own cellular structure and our own cellular matrix, and we bring in past life energies and beliefs and things that we Saturn returns, our shadow stuff. It's all ours, and we make the rules in our life. We co-create it. No holographs for me, Gabrielle said. So holographs, when I put my crystal together, I did my crystal in a holographic form, but of course it's 2D because it's flat. So the holograph for me, when I treat people too, I see the holograph, the auric energy all around them, which is a holographic dimension. So I was wondering, where does the holograph start and start? Is it at the third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension, or expanded? So holographically, it's the energy. So I see if you look at your crystal grid, Xavier, now, do you see a holograph? Okay, so I want you to look at your point, because there is a sphere holograph with your crystal, and it's almost like, I want to say a hexagonal. Yours is a hexagonal, octagonal shape. Have a look if you can see it. Sure, I can. So if you look at your grid, Michelle, so I can't see the comments over here, so I'm looking over here. If you look at your grids, like who's online, so I can see Michelle, Gabrielle, Xavier, and Felicia. If you all look at your grids or look at your crystals, can you see when you put them together, you actually get this platonic solid shape? So it's not 2D, it's not flat, it's actually, because when I'm going to show you, I'm going to take a photograph of mine and post it in, and after we finish, I'll actually come back and show you what I mean, but maybe I could do it now. But mine is a flat triangle, but it's actually a pyramid that I've created. And that equates to the solid platonics, which I posted in the group. So go back to the shapes. So the triangle for me, this pyramid, the tetrahedron, is solar plexus and powerful. So prosperity lies in the solar plexus, and that's what I've channeled. But I don't know all those ingredients as I'm channeling, because I'm trusting what I'm getting. And then after I go back and have a look and think about it. So, oh, perfect, Xavier. So tell me more, Xavier, about what can you see? Can you see that shape? Yours is almost like, maybe an octagon. Well, you can tell me what it is. What can you see? Perfect. So are you seeing like the Earth Star or the Merkaba? Xavier said, I see it as forget the name, the star. And I forget the name too. And I have to go back to, of course, I have to see it in writing. But I see it. I actually see it. And that's cool, because that's what we want as light workers going forward. We need to see it and then go back to getting the proof that we're right? So it's like, that's what I need. But it's like, oh my God, I can really see it. If you stay in your heart, you can see it, and that's what's healing the world. Then you go back to human ego, and you need to tick, tick, tick. Yeah. Yes. Could you see the shape? Because that point is in the middle, but it's creating that Merkaba. Beautiful. And the Merkaba, I have got a thing on the Merkaba here, which I will put, it's actually I thought it was really good, so I'm going to put it in the group. The Merkaba is an extremely powerful symbol. It's a combination of two-star tetrahedrons, which when I look at the Merkaba and I work with it, here it is. This is a 10 point. When we look at it's two tetrahedrons overlapping. That's it, Merkaba, great. This is the 10 point. So when we look at it, when we take these apart and sit them on top of each other, I don't know if you can see it. So if I pull them apart, just imagine I'm pulling them apart and then just sitting on top, it becomes a diamond, right? And we are diamonds, we're all perfection. So a Merkaba is one pointing up to the heavens, channeling energy down, pointing up, channeling energy down from the universe and to the earth plane, and one pointing downwards, drawing up from the earth beneath. The top and upward pointing tetrahedron is male and rotates clockwise, so that way, with the bottom or downwards pointing one being female, which rotates anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. So cool. Now I'll put this link in the group so you can read some more, because I don't want to bore you unless there is a mini one in my, oh my goodness, fantastic. Yeah, I think, what color is it, Xavier, the mini one? I think I did see it. I can't get to it now. So what color is your mini one, Xavier? And also Michelle, let's go back to Michelle's question. Michelle, what do you mean by holograph? Can you explain more? How did I go? Are you happy with the explanation, Michelle? Or do you, you know, sometimes I get into my head. So please ask me questions. Now I know that, oh, orange. How beautiful. Orange is creativity. Where are you at the moment? Are you being creative, Xavier? That's so cool. That's going to help you with your creativity. And also the balance of masculine and feminine energy. The Merkaba is very strong. I actually get my clients either to hold the Merkaba, or I put it on their heart space, and that opens up their heart to what is possible. So how are you going, Michelle? Are you still there? What do you mean by holograph? Now, I know, Felicia, you see holographs. Tell me about your experience, Felicia. Ah, how wonderful. Oh, how beautiful. Can you take a photograph of that, Michelle, and put it in the group? Because I love Merkabas. Or orgonite. What color is orgonite? Tell me. And this is the thing. I work with crystals. There are millions of crystals out there, and I don't know them all. I have a Bible here, and I refer to them, and I just go with trust. And these days, I really like, and in fact, for years, I've been really guided. I have some really special ones, but I'm guided to look at the clusters, the natural clusters that come out, and there's a whole story, there's a whole, you know, should we be taking the crystals from the earth? And that's, everyone has their own work with that. But given that I'm here as a light worker and I am using them for light, not for decoration, but for light, yes, they're just part of my toolkit. And you know, really anchor this in your cells, that crystals are a divination tool, which means they're your sovereign calling, their source energy. When we're channeling in a crystal grid, it's actually source energy that's talking to us through the crystalline energy of the crystals. So, cool. Felicia, are you still there? Or are you So now, has everyone channeled their grid? So I wanted to talk about how I do it. So set the intention. Ah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Michelle, I really like that. I've never seen that. Oh, there you go. Felicia's come. Thank you, Michelle, for that. Felicia, I see form in holograph form when I look into healing, and with the grid, it's like I see the 2D version of the holograph. Yes, me too. I just know each next step and have a rough idea of the final shape, but only once it's done, I see, yes, that's me too. And it's really, it's sort of like, oh my gosh, oh, I'm always blown away by the grids that come together. It says my live stream has been interrupted, so I'm sorry about that. I hope you're still there. You're still there? I'm just refreshing. We must be getting onto a good point because we get interruptions when we're... Oh, there you go. Thank you, Michelle. I'm waiting here. There's interruptions. Mine's going, whoa, whirring. Yeah, so that's it, Felicia. It's when we trust that intuitive power, that innate ability. And then I'm almost like of the opinion, let's come in raw. Let's come in curious. Let's come in wonder. And then we can have a look at why we're channeling that way, or if we need to, or we can just receive it with grace. Thank you, Michelle. So what do? I set the, so now you've all channeled your grid, but I just wanted to share how I channel my grids, and I hope it's useful for you. And here we are. I'm just going back. My feed on my was interrupted. So I hope, so I set the intention. So today we're talking about prosperity. So say my circle's coming up, and my circle's coming up February the 10th. If you're in Melbourne, please come and join me. I would love to see you and give you a big hug in person, although now you're getting a virtual hug. Excuse me. So I set the intention, and the intention of today's grid was prosperity for the world. So prosperity for the world takes power, and it's part of the solar plexus. And I just channeled a pyramid. That's what I saw. And then as some of you had said in the feed in another post that I did, sometimes you put a crystal in and the crystal goes, no, I don't belong here. And the crystals actually speak to me, and I put them in. No, they need to be anchored by something else. And I take one, and it really is intuitive. So I channel the shape, I channel the color, and then I play with the crystals, and I pop them down. And if they are resonating and they are part of the intention, the crystals will tell me, and they will stay. I know this sounds a bit, but just go with me because it's all energy. And then that's how I do it. And some of them actually really yell loud, and they go, ow, 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 this doesn't belong. And some of them just really feel harmonious and balanced, and that's when I keep them there. So that's how I do it. It's very simple. It's very intuitive. It's very playful, and it's very heart expansive and open. And that, I think, that connection soul to soul, and that's what crystalline energy is. It's connecting our energy through the crystals to other people and sending healing in the world. And that's what we want to do today, is to send prosperity and connect to each other's prosperity so that we can expand exponentially. So with that said, I know you've channeled your grid. I almost want to, can we come back and I can show you the grid, or would you like to see it now? Yeah, me too, Michelle. Michelle's saying, love living from a place of wonder and curiosity. And I do too. I just, it really frees up my heart and loses that control element. Like I know as mums or leaders of community or entrepreneurs or business people that we feel like we need to control and have checks and balances. And I do like checks and balances. I do like to tick off lists, and I feel I'm very accomplished. But when it doesn't go to form, it disturbs my energy. So go back to curiosity and wonder, and that really opens up my heart to, there might be something that I haven't thought about. So it's all energy. So that's that prosperity, and success lives in every cell. I talk about, when I work with my clients, I actually talk about turning on the success gene. And the success gene just lives in our DNA and in every cell, and just the mere fact that we were born makes us successful. Because let's think about the birthing process. It's not, it's really a miraculous process. So, and we forget how successful and miraculous we really are. So with that, I am going to leave it here and come back in about 5 minutes. So have a toilet break, have a break, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you and talk through the crystal grid. And then if you could pop your photos of your crystal grids, if you haven't already, into the group, and then I'll close off the circle. If you can't come back, I'll know that your energy will be closed off as I do the closing ritual, but I hope you do come back to join me. So with that, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Talk soon. Bye.